Hi, welcome to this behind the scenes live stream about how we develop our software at Redgate. Today we're going to give you a bit of an insight into how we use your feedback and input to help guide the way we produce great software for you. My name's Ali Parker. I'm the tech lead for SQL Monitor. I'm also joined here today by Mike, who's the tech lead for SQL Change Automation, and Tugberk, who's the tech lead for our new data privacy and protection.
Yes,
tool.
you got it right.
Great.
You got the order right as well.
Yeah, I usually get that wrong. It's a bit tricky. Hey, Mike, can you tell us a bit about what's going on in Change Automation at the moment, please?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we're responsible for SQL Change Automation and for SQL Source Control as well, so everything in the versioning and automation space. And one of the most interesting challenges about that, interesting in several different ways, is trying to support all of the wildly different things that our customers have. They have different database architectures, they have different processes, different deployments, environments.
Yeah, no two are the same, right?
Exactly. And we have to support all of those with build automation tools, but not make it so horrendously complicated to use that nobody can actually do the thing.
Right.
So the only way we get that to happen is by talking to our users, getting feedback from them. So we do a bunch of different things. We go on the forums. It's a really good place to get experience of real user scenarios because they're asking us questions about how they set this thing up that we've never heard of before. We go on support escalations as well. So as soon as support have a question, it comes to us and the whole team is involved in that. Research calls, they're really cool. And we even go out to our customer sites to see it being used in anger, sometimes real anger. That's bad when
you
that
get
happens.
to see the real frustration in the eyes when people are actually using it.
Yeah, totally. But
Not too much.
We're really grateful for that time anyway that our users have. So one of the things I wanted to show you all, some updates that came off of the back of feedback. So earlier this year, we had customers telling us that it was confusing having two different approaches to database automation. So there's a ready roll thing and there's a DLM automation thing. And how do we know which approach to use? It's difficult to move the build and release pipelines from one to the other. It's yeah, that was confusing. So back in June, we did the first step of something to address that. We released SQL Change Automation, which is the PowerShell commandlets from DLM automation and ready roll. So you get all of the features that we had in that PowerShell available to ready roll projects now known as SQL Change Automation projects. Simple, right?
Yeah, sounds great.
We're continuing to work on that. So just now we got feedback from our users about drift handling. So you'll see this release from couple of weeks ago. We've added the drift revert script into the release artifacts. So you can have either revert the drift from production and apply the real thing, or you can get the drift back into your source control. That was really cool, and that was direct user feedback. One of the other smaller ones was that it's actually really hard to set up automation build components on a build agent when you don't have direct access to it, when it's a VM, when you might not even have admin rights, and running an installer is tricky.
Vagrant boxes as well, that
kind of thing, exactly.
Right, okay.
So we changed the distribution method. It's a really simple, quick thing, but PowerShell has a built-in method. So we can import PowerShell get. If I type correctly, that works better.
That's the classic people watching you type problem.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, okay.
And then we can install SQL Change Automation. And we can say, I want that just to be for the current user, so I don't even need admin rights. Now, I'm not going to make you watch a progress bar as we try and download the thing. I'm just going to show you the PowerShell gallery site, just in case you weren't aware that that existed. So that's the mechanism it uses. If you have an internet connection, you don't need anything else, you can install these PowerShell commandlets.
That's great. Do you need to do any stuff with licenses with that as well, or does it just go out?
If this downloads quick enough, you have to accept the license.
Okay.
So say that
cool.
you agree that you're going to pay Redgate money for it.
Sounds reasonable.
Basically.
Yeah, sounds great.
So that's a little one, but the big feature that's really hot off the press, this was released last week, is in SQL Source Control version 6.3. So let's have a little zoom in. Version 6.3, we have just added something new at the top here, pre and post scripts. And we upset Steve Jones slightly by not telling him beforehand that we'd done that, so he got to find out from a customer telling him that he'd seen that. Sorry, Steve. That
just goes to show how quickly we're getting these into our customers' hands though, right?
Yeah, exactly. So pre and post scripts, we've also added a guide on the documentation site to explain when these things make sense. And this, again, is off the back of customers saying, how do I solve this particular problem? And we had no way of doing it, but we can now do things like setting up your file groups and files for your database. So let's just take this bit of SQL straight off the documentation site. If you're interested to see what it's doing, a bit more detail, we add a pre-deployment script. SQL, save and close it. It gets committed as usual. So there we go, you can see that pre-deployment script. Zoom in a bit again. There we go. New pre-deployment script, and I put a comment in saying set up file groups for provisioning. Commit, and that's done. We go back to the pre and post scripts, we can see, we can see that that's there. You can see the history of changes to that script. Go on window. And we could add a post-deployment script to address a whole bunch of other problems that you want to do after the deployment. So there are also examples of that in this documentation. So for example, setting up a SQL Server agent job so that you could do nightly index rebuilds. You can set that up as a postscript.
Nice.
Which addresses a whole load of situations in quite a simple way. So we're pleased with that one. Go back to the desktop. We're still very much actively developing SQL Change Automation, so I would love to hear from all of you if you're trying to implement more automation or change your DevOps processes to get the database included. If you're finding that difficult, if you're finding SQL Change Automation hard to use, get in touch with us. I think, Ali, you're going to give them the details right at the end, is that right?
Yeah, we've got some details at the end.
Excellent.
Oh, they're even at the bottom
even
of the screen right now.
They are, if I look at the screen straight in front of me. Right, I think that's everything from me. So, Tugberk, over to you.
Is it me now?
Well,
cool.
Like,
awesome.
Or was it you, Ali? Sorry.
No, after you two both. I mean, feel free.
Cool. Cool. My name is Tugberk, and I am the tech lead on data privacy and protection area. And today, what I want to talk to you about is what we have been up to as a team for the last a few months. So one of the areas that we have been exploring is how you could be highlighting the personal identifiable information within your SQL Server estate. And then one of the main things that we have heard from our customers is the time taken to complete the initial classification job. That's a time-consuming process, and you don't really know where your data is usually. So we have been working on trying to address this pain for the last couple of months. And I want to show you, what we are now currently offering within our early access program release to actually mitigate that pain. So if I go to Chrome here, so the web interface that you are seeing here is from the latest SQL Data Privacy Suite early access program release. And from the start, you can see that we are not just caring about one database, but you are seeing your whole estate as a high-level overview around what is there for you now. For example, if I look at one of my SQL Server instances, I can immediately see that the sensitivity label distribution within my SQL Server instance, which is really good information to be presented when you are actually looking at the data.
Cool. That covers all the databases on that instance, does it?
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
Right. Okay. So it's a nice top-down view of that.
Yeah, so that's one of the, I think, the good things about our offering here is that we are giving you that high-level overview across your instance. If we drill down into it, you are seeing the similar information, but this time it is being presented to you per database level. The other interesting thing that you might notice here is we are also offering you suggestions. This comes from our data discovery concept within the product itself, so that we offer you these suggestions to classify your database. And this is for you. This is to make it easy for you to get started with the classification job, and also make it easy to keep it up to date. Once you have schema changes, we also watch those and then offer you suggestions as well. The other interesting thing, so whenever you go into seeing the classification suggestions, when you apply them, by default, what we do is store these within your database schema as extended properties at the column level. But what we have been hearing from our customers is that this is not always a possibility, especially for third-party databases, that when you do schema changes, next update comes there and then overwrites the changes for you, and now you lost all your classification data.
Or avoids the warranties, right? I mean, there's that kind of thing as well with third-party databases.
Exactly. Yeah, that seems to be the biggest pain. So we actually took this feedback, and then what we introduced is now a configuration per database. And then now what you can do is you can change where you want to store your metadata. You can actually choose external repository, and once you choose that, we will store the metadata outside of your schema, so it will be always within our data storage system. So these are what we are currently offering within our SQL Data Privacy Suite offering. But when we actually talk to our customers, we try to understand why they want to classify their SQL Server estate. And the biggest thing that we have been hearing is so that they know what to mask, so that they can create safer copies of the production databases to test and development environments. So because of that, we have been also working on trying to improve our Redgate Data Masker offering. And what I would like to show you is today what we have been doing there as well. So the biggest thing that we have been hearing from our customers around this area is how it is tedious and time-consuming to be able to create masking rules. So we are trying to address this now with another early access program offering. Sure. So what I'm showing you here is the early access program release of our data masking offering. And so what I want to do now is to create a masking rule for first name columns, which I know exists in my database in multiple locations because I denormalize the data as well. So what I will do is use the column filtering on the left-hand side to find those columns. And you can see that I have found them in two places. Now, interesting thing here is that this customer table is the source of this first name. And then the second one has a relationship with the customer table, but the first name column is there for denormalization purposes. Right. So, but it has data integrity at the foreign key level, but the first names doesn't match, directly. So it's application that's handling it. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to add a masking type here. So I know it's going to be first name if I can just find it. Yep, here. So random first name, I will choose that. And you can see that we are also showing you before and after at this stage as well. But the interesting thing here is that you can see on the right-hand side, we have a checkbox called maintain relationship. Now, this is where it gets really interesting is that we actually find out that these two tables have a relationship between them. And then the first name, I can just keep the relationship between them as well when I apply the masking rule. Okay. So I can add the masking plan here, and I can mask my database. Boom, database is masked. So I can actually show you here that, for example, it was Jeff before, and then now when I execute the script, we will see that it has changed Pierce in both places. My contact lenses are, failing me right now that I can't see it.
Yes, these new high DPI screens. I think
yes, exactly.
Age is catching up with us.
Exactly. So this is again like one of the things that we are offering within the solution itself to make it easy for you to configure your masking plan. So that's all what I'm going to be showing you today. We are still iterating on these two offerings. They are still early access program offerings, but we really would like to talk to you if you have problems or pains around this area.
Yeah, and if people are interested in the early access program, they can get in contact with you again at the research contact below.
Exactly.
Please email us there.
Send us email.
So do that, and you'll be lucky enough to get in contact with maybe Mike or Tugberk or myself.
Yeah.
Is that lucky? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's unlucky.
Yeah, I think so.
Great. So I'll just hand over here. So I'm the tech lead in the SQL Monitor team, and we know that it's not just a matter of reacting to like fires on your estate. Keep maintaining a healthy estate. There's so much that you need to do. Whether you're keeping on top of patching or you're trying to plan for the future, there's always about 25 different kinds of data that you need to pull together into one place. So back in the beginning of March this year, we set out to try and give you some better estate-wide insights about what's going on to help you keep a really healthy estate. We'd heard on previous research calls that one of the most painful things to do was keeping on top of patching, knowing what versions of SQL Server were out there and those kind of things. So we started off by creating some pretty dumb prototypes, but in our team, we love to iterate and get things into your hands as soon as possible so we can know if we're even heading in the right direction. We can get value there straight away if there's something that's there. One of the ways we do this is we've got this new What's New button up in the top right of SQL Monitor, and this little blue blob as well. If you see this, come and have a click and you can see what's brand new in the tool. So you'll see if we've got some improvements or previews in the application. That will show you where we're trying to improve the product and give you some more value. So one of the things we added was this versioning and patching page, and you'll find that on the New Estate tab over here. If I just click on that, it's going to load up. To start with, we just added this really dumb screen. It was really just a list of all your servers and the current version number that you had installed. We're just trying to get some information out there. But we needed to get feedback from customers to help guide us in the right direction. So what we did is we just put this little preview bar up the top. You'll see this in each one of our previews. All of our new features are there. If you want to tell us about it, please click the link and you'll get a nice little email come up. Okay, I probably shouldn't have clicked that, that's fine. So if you click that, you're going to be able to send an email directly to the engineering team, give us some feedback directly and help us out. So the first pieces of feedback we got when we had this dumb page was that, yeah, this is kind of useful, I can see all my servers, that's great, but what I really struggle with is finding out when there's a new patch available and where can I go to get it. You know, I have to go to like the MSDM website, there's SQLServerUpdates.com, there's like these Blogspot sites and all these things, and I need to go and visit them. I do that like once a quarter and download it. So what we thought is we could do it better. We can pull all this information for you together and spit it out on the screen for you so that you can just know exactly what you need to go and download. It will tell you if you're out of date. It will tell you when the last release was deployed by Microsoft. We also gave you some extra information there about end of mainstream support, so you know whether you're in support or not. So we put this together, we pushed that out there, and we started getting more feedback. People just desperately wanted to be able to sort this screen. We didn't have any sorting because that was going to take a bit longer to get out. We wanted to get this into your hands so that you could start using it and get some value from it. Eventually, what we found out was that the reason people wanted to sort is they were sorting by version and then going, okay, I've got 1, 2, 3 SQL 17 boxes, 2 SQL Azure boxes. You know, we thought we could probably do better than that as a team. So we went and we thought, you know, why not start visualizing some of this stuff? Why not give you that top level at a glance view of your estate to give you a really good feel for what versions of SQL Server you had out in the wild, whether that was what you expected or not, and just give you an idea of how up-to-date your estate was and what the latest version was you could download. Each one of these links you can click and it will take you straight to the right MSDM page to tell you about the cumulative update and give you those download links there. So that's all baked in. That updates once a day and you'll see those versions there. So that's just a little bit about how we go about designing our tools at Redgate and how we use your input and feedback to help guide development. Thanks so much for watching our stream today. We hope you've enjoyed finding out what's been going on in SQL Change Automation with Mike and the data privacy and protection. Nailed it. With Tugberk. If you do want to get in contact, we'd love to hear from you. We always want to hear from our customers. It's always such a valuable experience. Contact us down there. There's the research at redgate.com, or you can come and find us on the Redgate Hub. Cool. Thanks, everyone.